Welcome to the Grounded Path, tools down, soul on, the podcast where we step away from the noise, the pressure, and the hustle and reconnect with what truly matters: your soul, your purpose, your peace. I'm Emma Muir, your alignment guide, here to share honest conversations, stories, and practical tools for men in construction and other high pressure industries who want to lead with heart, find balance, and live fully aligned. Each week we'll explore how to put your tools down, quiet the mind, and turn your attention inward so you can show up grounded, clear, and ready to walk your path with strength and soul. So take a deep breath, get comfy, and let's get grounded. Hi, welcome to the Grounded Path. And in this episode, I want to walk through a moment with you. And I'm sharing it because it came from a really deep emotional place. I mean, I am deeply emotional and deep thinking, and one of the parts of my pure design, my true nature, is that my brain never fucking shuts off. Like, never. So I'm a person that has lists and I write a lot of things down, getting the thoughts out and, and some structure around them is really helpful for me. And so when I have a really deep feeling about something that elicits a response, like a physical response from me, that's something I know I really want to share. And here's what happened and what poured out of me one day. And thinking about working with men and the challenges that we experience as a society because men are not in alignment with themselves. And I just felt rage. And I recognized that I wasn't fucking mad at men. Not at all. And not to say you're off the hook, like, oh, don't worry about it, it's not your fault. I'm not here to mother you. But I recognized that the truth of the feeling that I had was I'm fucking so mad for men. Like, I'm mad for men, not at them, but for them. And why is that? Because I'm mad for men that they are clearly disconnected from their emotional awareness, intelligence, from their emotions. And it's so evident in the world today because you see men under emotional pressure all the time and they don't know what to do with it. They really don't. And a lot of men will contain it. Like a lot of the men that I come across, conversations, a lot of the work that I do is, unpacking someone's true nature and true design in their life, like what you're built for. And being able to break it down into the patterns that are coming up. And so a lot of the stuff that we do in session together is conversation. It's around sharing. And it's amazing and beautiful and this wonderful experience, not just for me, being able to see it, but also for men to be able to feel it. And like all this surface level stuff, because that's one of the real challenges I see from men is the lack of depth. And that's not true. Like every single human on the planet has a depth of their true nature, and uncovering that, It's amazing. But what I see in this disconnection comes up because, one, yes, they're disconnected from their true selves, and so they get into a performance. They get into a role. They get into, well, this is how I'm meant to show up. And I've been really reflecting on this recently around self-respect and my own, and coming from a place of, one of the ways that I switched it up and was able to shift from that was moving from being someone that my kids looked up to being someone that they could look to. And that meant I had to really have a hard look at myself. Was, am I someone that I respect, and what did that look like? And there's definitely been some tough moments in that, because, men get caught up in, and so do women, like we all can get caught up in being strong. I definitely have as well. When you start to see, you can go onto Instagram or Facebook, and there's a lot of posts on there that are around this, my strong, like the bullshit strong, the mask that I wore around it. And I would have shared that before as well. So, something to think about. Are you stuck in this emotional disconnect? Are you putting so much pressure on yourself that like in life, in relationships, the pressure to show up in a performative way? And if that statement right there makes you feel uncomfortable, I'm not performing, you just performed. You just performed in the most perfect and beautiful way. You got defensive, like, I'm not performing, I'm being myself. Yeah, for sure. That's performing. And you can look at it in so many different ways. Duty over devotion, and duty is that role, that being stuck in a really kind of linear. And look, I know that the masculine side of us needs structure, needs containment, needs to, have the direction and be really clear. And I get that. But then there's the other side of us, that feminine energy that needs the flow, needs, to really push out the boundaries, to test, to challenge. And so, I think we're all kind of stuck in the duty over devotion, because there is so much content out there which says this is a man is to provide and protect. But I've come to understand so deeply that that's actually part of what I do as well. Like within myself, for people around me, there are definitely times when I go in full protective mode, whether that's emotional, physical, whatever it is, and provide space. I'm a single mum, so I'm providing like support to my kids physically and emotionally and spiritually all the time. But when men cut off from the energy of the feminine within them that we all have, they really do deny a truth. Because when you're stuck as a man in this thinking of this is how I've got to be, being the strong, it's going to drain you. Because where's the off switch? Where's the balance? Where's the other side of that? And we're going to go, I want to go deeper into that. And so, I really do want to go more into why I'm mad and why it gets me so mad. And for a lot of men, that's confronting. And I'll be honest, I've actually, I've received all the feedback of, this is great, you're working in this space, it's amazing. And then there's the other side of it was, I'd never work with a woman. I could, never do that. And that tells me right there that there's a fear base around it. And how do I know that? And this is where I'll share really vulnerably. I did not work with men for a long time. I got stuck in that thinking of men can't possibly help me evolve. They can't possibly help me grow. I wanted to relate to someone else. Like I wanted it to relate to them. And I'll be honest, like, you know, because of my natural ability to see patterns and to see the pain in men and the pain in people when they're telling me their stories and sharing things, it's been challenging to sit in and work with some men because I can feel into them so deeply. That's actually part of my true nature. Like I'm constantly feeling into everyone that's around me, constantly scanning. And, you know, for a long time I wanted to turn that off. But I don't want to turn that off anymore. Like that's actually a really great, well, it's actually the truth of who I am. It's what I do really naturally. It's a gift that I have. And so, you know, that was challenging to feel into men and to feel that pain, because feeling into a woman and feeling their pain for me, you know, there is that relatability, there is that familiarity, you know, energetically, and so, you know, there was kind of some ease for me. And, you know, here I am asking men to be incredibly uncomfortable when I wouldn't do it myself. So then I did. I went off and worked with some men for myself professionally. And it shifted so much. Having that perspective and having that different energy. And, you know, one was great and one was not so great. And I learned an incredible amount from it as well. But what I did get really deeply was both of them were coming from a place of deep love and care. And they just have very different perspectives. So that proves to me so much that, and like, did I grow? 100%. Had things reflected back to me in, you know, the parts of me that I was trying to hide behind and hide from? 100%, because there is such a difference in working for me as a woman with a man than there is me working with a woman, right? And it was so laser quick. The mirror was different. The reflection was different that I received from it. And that's an incredible place. And so, yeah, it got me to the place where I just could see how much value there was in, you know, the 25 years of work that I've not only done with myself, but, you know, clients and healing and working in the different modalities throughout that time. And, you know, over the last little while, you know, coming to some new learning and, you know, working into that of myself and understanding there's a design that's within me and there's natural abilities. And then it came to this point of resistance. And I really sat with that, because that's what I feel with men so much. And I'm mad because I see men, good men, that are resisting vulnerability. And you can see how tired they are and disconnected. But this is just so normal. You know, and because I don't do surface conversations, can you imagine my life? Like it's not something that I'm really interested in. You know, like people talk about the weather, and the first thing I will say is, because I live in Melbourne, Australia, wherever you're listening to this from, so Victoria, and like, you know, we have 5 weather systems in a fucking day here sometimes. And so when people go, oh, it's this today, oh, like, oh God, I can't believe, and it's almost like we're in shock, like, oh, I can't believe the rain yesterday, or I can't believe the heat today. And I just, like, it makes me laugh and go, oh, can't believe the weather. It's just weather. Dress appropriately. You know, dress up, dress down, whatever you got to do. It's just weather. And
It always makes me laugh because I think men do that as, oh, did you see how, like how strong he was, or he held it together? And I think, wow, like, but that's just disconnection. That's just bypassing. And, or the jokester, spiritual teachers. I do see this a lot as, and look, you know what, we all go through this stage, right? When you come into a new awareness within yourself, like we all get excited and want to share it with everyone and act like it's the messiah of our life and it's the one and only thing. But after doing this for, 20, 25 years and moving through a shit ton of different modalities and, countless amounts of courses and, gaining like little certificates along the way and qualifications. And I'm not trying to dismiss any of those at all, like all amazing. And they all get rolled into my work at some point. Some I've completely left and gone, no, not even. And some have just been for my own learning and awareness, and it's amazing. But we get excited and we think it's like the one and only thing. But I'll be honest, there's not one thing that one size fits all for everyone. And also knowing it all doesn't mean that you know it all. Like I probably know what I feel. Like now that I'm in, where I am, I feel like I know less. And I've still got so much more to learn. And so, all that being said, love going off on a little tangent. I see how tired men are, and I see how when you get fixated on one aspect of it, that you can kind of still get stuck in that place. And so what you perceive as loving and, and caring for yourself and being loving can often be another mask that you wear and another way of bypassing and another way of staying disconnected. And it can be another way of staying in a story. Like one of the things that I really notice about men and women, but we're talking about men now, I really notice this, that, you'll have an experience that kind of really breaks you and there might be some breakthrough with it. And I'm saying this from experience. I'm saying this because it's like I've lived this. And you get stuck in this story and what feels like an incredibly powerful story, but it's what you share over and over. And like it's a marketer's dream, honestly. Like I see a fuck ton of coaches out there sharing the same story from 20 years ago. And it was a really powerful experience for them. But it does make me question, what's the connection to now? And where is this? How is this showing up for you now if it's still something that you're speaking about? And some of them can be really powerful, like some people have the physical, like the actual, you can see physically what's occurred for them, and that's where they share from. But for me, I can still see that it's like the stuckness of, that's the story that they keep platforming from. And I think that, to be honest, stops men, because they're in this stuckness of this story. I think it stops their depth, or gives them a false sense of depth for some of them. And this isn't a judgment, like it's just me seeing a pattern over and over again. And that's part of my true nature, is to see the pattern and how I use that in life and how that has been shown to me over and over again is I use it in human behavior, and particularly in moving someone through their darkness and being able to see the different layers that it shows up in and the subtleties. That's just my bag. That's just what I'm, here to do. And so, I stopped, the rage kind of subsided, and the compassion really dropped in for me. Drink of water. And it started to really dawn on me that, and come to the truth, nobody's broken. They're just burnt out. They're just buried under the layers. And none of that is weakness. Truthfully, it's just a lack of awareness. So, how do we then move from performance to presence? That's right, you can hear me moving sheets around. I have got notes in front of me and it just helps me keep on track. Because for me, often to work things out and to talk, I've got to talk it out. It's just part of the way that I do things. So having notes keeps me on track. Hope you got a laugh about that. But it could also be something that you relate to as well. Here we go. That's me being present and not performing. Because in my performance, I would have tried to be so fucking quiet about that, and for you not to hear it, right? Like for you not to hear those pages being read. I would have had all set up and tried to be all perfect. But that's the truth. I will have notes in front of me. It keeps me on track. I've already stated that my brain is constantly going, and and how I talk, I talk things out. So how that is absolutely the way that I do things best. And so if I'm talking, then quite often I can go on a tangent and be like, oh, I have a realization. So having notes just helps me stay on point for me, for you, for the work that I do with you. Even in session, I will write things down. Like I genuinely will write, because I know they want to loop back around to something, or it's something that we've got to, I know that that's an important question I want to ask and come back around. Because like I said, it's in conversation that the work is powerful, and action, putting it into action as well. Like not just knowing it, but deeply knowing something. And that, oh wow, that's such a great way of looking at performance over presence. Like I mentioned before, you can get really excited about something that you've learned and you start talking about it and but there's power in sharing. Like, don't get 100%. This is what we're all out here doing. Like, anyone that's in some kind of self-help, personal development, like we're out here sharing stuff that we've learned or stuff that we've tried with clients and all that kind of stuff. But it's in the action of it. It's in the inaction or action of it. And I think that's performance. Performance is the inaction of that learning, because then we just go into performing it. Like, I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to look like I'm doing it. But the presence is when you put it into action in your life. Like, it becomes something that's part of you, really, when it feels really true to you, you put it into action and you do it. And so, yeah, because I hear a lot of, and I think that they are, like a spiritual kind of buzz, I felt the energy rush through me, and I connect. Please don't misunderstand. I've done meditations that are out of this fucking world, right? And for me, having such an active mind and active, like crown that's like locked in, having that going outside of myself like is amazing. And because for me, I always feel deeply connected. I just do, right? But going almost out of my body is incredible. And feeling that energy really move through me, and feeling energy move through other people is incredible. However, when it's just an experience of like this rush and like, oh man, I've got to tap into that all the time. One, that's absolute bullshit, because it's not grounded in real true power. The true power is in energy shifts and being able to feel that energy rush through you. It's actually quite calm, and it's actually, I want to use the word stable. I don't know why, but there's a stability to the energy. Like it's not like this, like a pinball game, bouncing off, the walls, like, oh, yes, felt the energy. Oh, no, I don't feel it anymore. It's not a high-low. It's not this. The ebb and flow is far more subtle when you're sitting in a true presence of like a deep divine energy shift. Yes, you can have experiences, but for me, I just have come to understand that the truth is it's in day to day. It's like, it's in the hanging of the washing, it's in the being present with your kids. It's, it's in stillness. And not stillness like you're sitting there fucking humming and omming. Not that they're not good things. I'm not trying to dismiss that, but it's, presence brings stillness, and it allows you to be in the moment. And I don't mean, because my mind's always going, so it doesn't mean my mind's going, but I can still be really present and feel still in my body, like not feel like I'm going all the time. And you feel that in your body, because the performance is the running. The performance is, I've got to have this experience, this energetic experience, but not actually bring it into the presence of you, the essence. And the term embody is thrown around a lot, and really what that means is it becomes part of you, it becomes aligned with you, and some things are not going to align with you, like, right? They're just not. And other things will, and that's when we integrate and align it and embody it. And that's just not for women. Like, men need to embody themselves as well and become aligned with their truth and what works and what doesn't work. But the performative stuff is that rush, that ticking the boxes, that, I've done this work and I've done la la la, and then moving on to the next. And, the performance is the, just having the doing of experience, but not being in the experience. I really do hope all of that makes sense. Because the performance is holding everything together to look strong, to be considered like you're doing your duty, like you're ticking the boxes. But what if you could drop that? What if you could just lead from what's true? So what's true for me is that my innate design, my truth, my true nature is I fucking love a bit of research. Like, I love diving into something and learning all about it. And then success for me is trial and error. Like, I don't want to say I was born to fail, but I'm born to try things out and fail at them. Like, I'm just born for. So that's success for me. I get really excited when I do something and fuck it all up, right? And go, oh shit. Because then I get to try again and try again and try again. And some things I'm like, okay, well, I've actually tried that, like whatever amount of times, and I really don't feel like that's for me. That's part of me being in my truth. And the gift that brings in my work is that I know what that feels like in my body. For some people, I can see into people when they're pushing so hard to get something right. But is it true for you to be doing it? And that's, that is where that gold of my innate nature. But I performed in that for a long time. I used to be really hard on myself, or would almost like keep making well, I tried it again, and look, because other people don't understand that part of my nature. But now that I own it, now that I actually sit in it, I don't get that same reaction of like, oh, Emma, that didn't work out for you. I actually get people and have people in my life now that go, oh, tell me about that experience. Like, what was that like for you? Knowing that I'm not going to be saying to them, well, you should go and try this, and this is what I did, and these are the steps you take. I literally just share my experience and go, this is what I uncovered when I did it. And you know what? It's actually not for me. And I've had feedback which is really beautiful, because when I was in performance, I was like, oh, yes, let's go off and do this. And I'd start fucking coaching them in some way. Not required. And, now I'm like, yeah, it didn't actually work for me. And I've had the feedback recently of someone saying, you know what, I'm going to go try this thing that, not even the same thing that I was talking about. I'm going to go try this thing that I wanted to do. And you've kind of inspired me to go, you know what, if I fuck it up, I fuck it up. Like, whatever. I gave it a go. And for some people, they're like, oh my God, I discovered this thing that I really love, whatever it might be. And you can see that I'm not using anything specific, because like, that's not really the truth of me being me. Like, I have my experiences and you have yours. So what if you could lead from a place within you that was true for you? Like, what if you could understand parts of you? Because some people are not, they're not born like me. They're not born for the trial and error and, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Even for me, some people are born to try, like, actually learn a whole bunch of different things in their life and have like 10 different focuses and like be completely energized by them. For me, my work is really singularly focused, and I know that, and I love that. And I used to feel really bad about it because I was trying to keep up with everyone else around me. Like, oh, I need to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. But I was performing. And now I'm like, you know what? I get what my focus is. I get where I'm meant to be. I get where I'm meant to be placing my attention. And it's here with you. It's in the sharing. It's in helping men remember and come back to their truth. And how I do that is in so many different ways. We can go right into the spiritual stuff, or we can do it from a really practical, pragmatic point of view. Like, it's, we're going to, because I see the truth of who people are, I get to tap into, I get to meet you where you're at. That's part of my design. And I love that. So that's, why the work isn't, like that traditional therapy. It's so real and it's so grounded. And, we can start wherever you're at. That's the beauty. And I do, there's a couple of ways, there's a couple of momentum sessions that I have, but I want to talk about the one that is like a 4-week, and it's a really kind of intensive, beautiful, laser focused experience. And it's 4 sessions over 4 weeks. And the first session is 90 minutes, right? And then we go to 60 minutes after that for the next 3 weeks. But And we really do, like, when we first get into it, there is some, look, we want to have a look at patterns and true nature and design and all that kind of stuff in the first one. And then those next sessions are really setting you up for just integrating the, what it is you're coming into the momentum sessions, the 4-week momentum sessions to do. And the thing that I offer with this is unlike any other way that you work with me, because the truth is I work best one-on-one. It's where I'm most powerful and most impactful. But these 4 sessions, the distinct difference is we actually set up a little Telegram chat, and you have access to me, and we can do like a quick voice interaction, or if you want to type whatever it is, I'll probably voice back to you because that's the best way I can do things, but you can type out whatever you want. And we have sort of 5 minutes every day where you can just check in and like share with what's going on, and I can give you a really quick kind of read on it, or just like a reminder, or hey, remember this part of what we were talking about, or if it's just, hey, fuck, I went off a bit track today, it's like I need to get back on. So that's actually an every single day thing, but I will let you know if there's days that I'm completely unavailable, or only like I'll get back to you really quickly. But that's a pretty amazing thing, and they're work days as well. I don't do Sundays. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. And that's, so it's a really kind of laser working together. I'm going to pop a link for that in the bio of this episode, so you can just click on that and make your first time with me. Now, the other one that I want to talk about, and I'll pop the link below, is my ebook, Path to Peace. And what I love about it is it's a guide. And it's not like, do this and you'll have peace. It's like, hey, here's an offering for you. And there's a variety of different things that you can do in there, and lots of different things that you can try. And some of the chapters are really just like, hey, this is my perspective on emotions. And I know emotions for a lot of men can be really challenging. So it just gives you a just different perspective on my take on how we can process emotions, how we can communicate them, and how you can get to know yourself and become more self-aware through them. And it's one of the chapters. There's also one around values, and there's, a really beautiful, quick, short one about remembering who you are and reminders. And so it's not like a systemized blueprint like it is. These are a lot of the things that I tried over the past 20 years, and it's a really simple guide. So I'm going to pop that link up there as well. So you've got the 2 options. You can either really deep dive with me and go one-on-one, or you can walk through this path for yourself. And I call it Path to Peace because ultimately I think we all want to feel that within ourselves, whatever that looks like. And some people are like super high energy and super go and, like never stop. And that's actually really fucking peaceful for them. I myself like to take naps. I myself, like have probably a slower pace than other people. And that's actually really peaceful for me. We're all different in our designs, and I think the more we can lean into that, the more we can relate to each other on such an incredible level, and the more we can come back to the truth about how we're living and how we need to be living, and community and sharing and growth. And I love Path to Peace. It was such a joy to write, and I wrote it really quickly. It poured out of me, and I worked late hours, and it was every day. Like I think for months I was literally working on this ebook every single day, which is really unlike me and how I work and what feels true to me. But when I'm in something, like I'm in it. And so, you'll often see me post most days, and because it feels so true to me to be doing this work. Now, I want to be clear, none of the work I do is ever going to come from a place of you need to be fixed or you need to be a particular, like you need to be yourself. Like that's the place that I come from. And, I work with a lot of leaders in their businesses, like whether they're sole trader, entrepreneurs, leading in business within large businesses and medium businesses, obviously small businesses as well. But I work with a lot of leaders. So, leadership needs to be rooted in truth. And when you're grounded and really coming from your own truth, it's a powerful way to lead. So just a real fucking reminder for men. You're not weak for wanting to do the work, for wanting to take a good look at yourself, for wanting to feel it all. That's not weakness. That's breaking free from the container and wanting to let go of the exhaustion of fucking holding it all together. You're not broken. You're just living in a way that is not sustainable for you. And it's time to change it. It's time to live from a place that is sustainable for you and have the ability to communicate that to others and to share that. The world does not need perfect men or, more like, here is the ideal of what a masculine man is. We don't need more of that. It's no different to me being told this is what a feminine woman is. Oh, fuck off. That's what I think about that. It needs men who are grounded. It needs men who are clear within themselves. And it needs men that are leading from their own truth. Because that's the kind of men that that's the kind of man that you are always meant to be. And it can start right now. But it's got to be your move. You've got to click the link. You've got to book the time. You've got to read the ebook and try it out. Just for shits and giggles, give it a go. What have you fucking got to lose? You've got to invite me in. Because the work we do allows you to put your tools down and dial into your soul. So, I'm going to end it right there. So, I've just said so like 2 or 3 times in the matter of a space of 2 seconds. I love when you pick up on your language patterns. Anyway, that's for another episode. But thanks so much for sharing your time. Thanks for letting me riff. Thanks for letting me share why I'm mad for men. And I'll see you next time. Oh, actually, you'll hear me next time and I'll talk to you next time. Till then, tools down, soul on.
Thanks for joining me on the Grounded Path. I truly hope that I've served you and you are able to put your tools down and really tune into your soul. If this episode brought you something valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone you know who might need this. For more resources, coaching, and to connect with me, you can visit my website, www.emmamuir.com, or hit the links in the episode description. Remember, peace starts within. Until next time, keep your tools down and your soul on, stay grounded, and enjoy the peace that you're cultivating here. Take care for now.